Welcome to the Bitcoin Art Podcast, the show where we explore how Bitcoin isn't just code, it's culture, philosophy, and art. Before we begin, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors, patrons, and artists. Thank you to all of whom have helped make this possible. Today, we're sitting down with Anik Malcolm, a Bitcoin artist. Thank you for coming on to the show today.
You're very welcome, man. Thank you for having me.
To begin, how about you tell us a little bit about your childhood? What sort of environment were you raised in, and who would you say were the people who shaped you the most?
Ooh, that's hard. Okay, man. Okay, this is personal shit, man. Because I can't tell you the
You can change
give you
names.
the full picture. No. But it's like I can't give the full picture without kind of like being quite personal about it. But yeah, okay, man. I'll go there. I'll fucking go there. So like, I come from quite a bizarre background, actually, man. Like, for instance, like my granddad, right? He was born Italian. His dad was born into the frigging house that the Pentagon was based on, right? This is fucking deep shit, man. Like, they lived in the house where the Farnese, which is one of the 13 fucking bloodline houses, see, told you, lived. So that's on what, and they lost all their money in the war, blah, blah, blah. So whatever, but this from this kind of family, right? He died. My granddad, I never met him. He died in the Second World War, and they just lost everything. Then on my dad's side, he's from New Zealand. He inherited a shit ton of money from a sheep farm, which he then drank all away, died penniless. And so I left him we left him when I was 2. And so it's a bit of a kind of like, this is the background, right? Kind of like a riches to rags situation in a way. And in a way, like my mum was really like dead set on kind of like putting, at least giving me the chance of getting back there kind of thing. So they went into massive debt to send me to some like posh school. Which was nuts, man. I learned to really fucking hate the system there. And I was just some grass skateboard kid, you know? And then amongst suddenly like at 13 thrown into this kind of like world of like that society, right? Which I fucking hated. And all super strict rules and deep tradition and all of this stuff. And I was always just this art from when I was a kid, from when I was very small, I was just super rebellious, super artistic, super blah, blah, blah. So that was all that I ever knew, but that was all of me that I wanted to do, right? It was like that or nothing. And that wasn't really pushed at all because, you know, they wanted me to go on a different trajectory, which I just refused. So there wasn't really ever any artistic support from my family. My sister, she's like a crazy like hippie witch type. She was always very supportive and showed me like all sorts of stuff from an early age, including like how to use a pendulum and all that kind of woo shit, right? And she always supported my art. But that's, you know, that was it was just like I had no one to. We had artists in the family going back generations and so on, but I was kind of like very much on my own trajectory and kind of like just had to figure it all out myself, which I did, and I'm glad. And yeah, so that's the background, man.
Interesting. Is this an older sister or a younger sister?
They're all older. They're all older. Yeah. Unlike the youngest by a long shot.
Okay, so I was gonna ask you, was there a moment in your early life when you first realized that you saw the world differently than most people around you? But it sounds like your sisters, or at least your sister, also saw the world differently.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, she does, always has done. But yeah, no, from an early age, always. I knew it. Like the second record I bought when I was like 8 or something, like 12-inch, was a song called Hey Matthew. It was like a one-hit wonder kind of thing, guy called Karel Fialka. And the song is about this dad essentially actually rapping. He's just like speaking to his son about TV and about what the TV is showing him and the programming and the violence and the societal shit and all this stuff, right? And I just listened to this on repeat, on repeat, on repeat. I was just like, whoa, you know? And that to me was kind of, I guess that was like the first memorable to me kind of like instance of like, you know, logging out of the status quo, so to speak, you know, and being like, no, this is the shit. And I've always just like seen it through that lens, probably before then, which is why it resonated, but you know, definitely ever since then. And this is also during the time like we were living in Germany at the time, and all of the collapse of communism, so you know, was happening, and I was super interested in this, and so it was all very very kind of like, I was always interested in the bigger picture and the whole, like, you know, the way the world. And then my mom she read she, to prepare me for the school, right, that I was going to, she read me 1984 when I was 12 years old, you know.
Interesting.
So yeah, so that was like very much added to the lens through which I saw the world, you know.
Interesting. And you said, I know that from past conversations that you did go to art school, right?
Yeah.
But that was after this. What kind of school was this? This was like a prep school?
Yeah, it was like very fucking old, fucking, you know, like posh
uniforms?
English, like boarding school. Yeah, uniforms,
Wow.
man. Uniform. I had to wear a gown even because I was a scholar. I got a scholarship there, so yeah. But I refused to wear it, and I fucking hated everything about it. It caused me like deep anxiety, actually, that place, man. It was like, yeah, scary shit. But then I was just like, you know, everyone like fought it. They were like, no, you gotta go. They tried to get me to go the, you know, trajectory, right? And I was like, no, man, I have to go art school. There's no option for me. I didn't want it, you know, there was nothing that I could choose from. I never wanted to be part of the system. There was nothing within the system that was enticing to me. You know, I just saw it all as just like bullshit. And so I couldn't see myself just doing some fucking money earning job just for the sake of it and pretending I didn't know it was bullshit, you know? Mm-hmm. So art to me was the only, because I'd always done art anyway, and that was my passion, and that was the only thing to me that had truth in it, at least, you know, that it was, it bypassed the bullshit, only to then later discover that the art world has that just as much, you know. But I'm very glad I went to art school, man. I really am. I love that. It was very cool.
How did you, so you went to the prep school, and then how did you end up at art school from that? I know you were just saying that you know, they were there trying to get you to go do something straight edge, and you know, couldn't do that. But how'd you find your way to art school?
Oh, I just like looked for the art schools in London and applied and went. You know, I remember going like on the open day. I was like, "Fuck, this is where I want to be, man." You know, just the whole environment, I remember my first day there and like asking a teacher for a light for my cigarette, and I was like, "Wow, this is freedom," you know. And yeah, that's just what I needed, and so yeah, that's what I just did. And luckily, my parents or my mum and stepdad were supportive to that end. You know, they didn't try and get in the way. So yeah, and now finally it's freaking, you know, starting to make sense, with thanks to Satoshi, man. You know.
Yeah. All right. I guess let's talk about. Okay. Let me ask you one more childhood kind of question. Do you have like a memory from when you were young, something that was profound, something that moved you deeply, or something that I don't know. Is there anything that you can think of off the top of your head that just like you always remember that moment, or you always remember that, you know, that thing that person said?
How woo do you want to get? Actually, the first thing that springs to mind, and this is actually relevant to the work I'm doing at the moment, so I think that's a good one to do. There was this experience that I had when I was around the age that we were talking about earlier, like 8, younger as well, where, and it would be interesting if other people have experienced this as well, because Una also had this, my wife, and I have read about it in the writings of Carlos Castaneda as well. So when I was falling asleep, in this like between zone, I'd have this kind of physical experience that my body, my limbs were just like growing massively, right? And just like, boom, boom, boom. And I would see this like entity. It's like this gray, almost cube, you know, kind of though. This gray like rock, like porous rock hanging in front of me in space, like an empty space, which was infinitely close, well, no, like incredibly close, but also super distant, and then equally massive, but at the same time absolutely small. So it was like this, and I could feel this. It was like in Castaneda he writes about this when I read this, I was like, what the fuck? This entity as being this kind of like very powerful force, which is neither benevolent nor malevolent. It's either or, depending on how you use it. It's to be taken with caution, you know, and kind of thing. And in a way, you can, you know, tie that into to Bitcoin as well. You know, it's a kind of like, it just is. It's a thing of what you make of it. How will you as an individual, how will society, how, you know, all of this stuff, it just is. It's a question of how you approach it, what you do with it. So it was kind of fun when I realized this, when I was making this work that I'm working on at the moment. It's like, fuck, wow, that's this thing that I used to experience, you know? So it's kind of fun how that like ties in with that.
Fascinating.
I find.
Interesting. You're I want to ask you more about your childhood, but I figure we'll save that for another day and maybe get into talking about a bit more about your artwork here. I do feel like I have a lot of questions for you. I feel like we have there's some parallels in some ways in the ways that we grew up. You know, yeah.
I mean, if you want to go there, man, it's
lived.
I'm actually surprised at how like open I'm being talking about this stuff, but it's super interesting, and it's very formative. You know, it shapes who we are, right? You know, and it's something that also, like, you know, the stuff that I was telling you right at the beginning, this is stuff that I had a hard time admitting for a long time. You know, I was super ashamed of coming from this kind of background, actually. You know, because I just despised it. You know. And it's only recently, actually through Bitcoin, that I've started to recognize that it can be a very good thing, you know. The things like, I used to see money as an inherently bad thing, like we're programmed to do, right? And starting to realize that it can be a force of great good if used correctly, if in the right hands, you know. So yeah, it's a growing process.
It's a long, strange trip, is what it is.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Oh wow. It's a fun theater we're in, man.
Hey, everything. You're going to be at Vegas this year.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yep,
I'm excited. As of right now, it sounds like I'll be there as well with the magazine. So
wonderful. Yeah, really cool. That's very good news.
Yeah,
that's very good news. I can hang out there as well and be like, yo.
Yeah. I'm not gonna make I'm not making an official announcement yet until everything's locked in, but
okay, cool. This is pretty close to official though, right? I mean, come on.
yeah, but I'm not, you know, this is it's in conversation, not making a I'm not making a
Yeah.
super official social media post.
Yeah, exactly. Just a casual conversation with friends.
Yeah.
I'm super looking forward to it this year. I'm like changing my attitude towards it, as I told you on the other day on the phone. I had, like, last time, it was a massive culture shock for me. A, Vegas, B, friggin' crypto bro bollocks going on there, you know? And so I was a little bit friggin' flabbergasted by the whole situation, and that kind of, I think, pulled down my energy quite a lot. This time I'm embracing it in a completely different way. It's just like, it is what it is. People go to Vegas to voluntarily to have fun, and I'm gonna just like embrace it as such and look forward to just meeting everyone again, both new faces and old, you know. And I think I'm gonna be much more relaxed about shit.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's different strokes for different folks. You know, Vegas is apparently fun for some people, and
apparently, yeah.
you're not. I remember you telling me that about having seeing it through a different perspective, and I was actually thinking about that. It was either today or yesterday, and because I'm thinking about logistics of going there and bringing the magazine and stuff, and so I appreciate your perspective on that, and that it's going to be a super fun and awesome positive trip. And look at how much we're gonna exclaim what fun these people are having as we walk past the slot machine.
Right.
Degeneracy.
Yeah.
You know,
we can see people getting lost in the maze, you know, offer a hand. Hey.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway.
All right. So you've been making art for a really long time. Have you been making art as long as you can remember, or is there a point that you remember when you like started making art and you're like, and we're cognitive of the fact that you were making art? Maybe.
Yeah, that's a good question. The first time I realized that I was maybe kind of like a little bit different like that was that I was like, I remember drawing shoulders on people, you know, at school, like a preschool. I was like, dude, why is everyone drawing people like this? People got shoulders, man, you know? And I was like, I'm kind of, you know, advanced here, you know? And also, like, I've got a drawing that I did of a chandelier, like shaded chandelier when I was 6 years old, kind of shit, you know? So I was always doing stuff that made grown-ups go like, whoa, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I've always it was a growing realization that, you know, this is like what I do, you know. But I've been very much on and off with it, you know, because at one point, like, it just seemed pointless. I just, you know, it was like, there seemed to be so much like of this, as I speak about all the time, you know, this kind of very nihilistic, depressing, ugly art in the world. And it seemed just so like saturated with that. There was like, how are you going to make an impression there? How are you going to? And so I kind of, in a way, gave up. I'll do bits and bobs here and there, but like, I kind of like lost sight of the pursuit of being an artist, so to speak, you know. Saw myself as an artist just by what I do in my daily life and everything, you know, whether it's music or whether it's renovating places or just living. But I had kind of given up on the visual arts, as it were, until I found this world, man.
Yeah, you've talked a little bit. You've told me a bit about, I think, to summarize, a disenfranchisement, a disenchantment with the fiat art world. But maybe let's not get into that right now. But I do want to ask you about, because I want to ask you about, I want to keep moving forward into, and I'm going to ask you for the full explainer on the cube. And so, but not just yet. I saw somewhere, and if I had prepared better for this interview right now, I would have found the post, but you had painted a bunch of trash in an alley white. So I saw it on Twitter. I think you posted it.
Yeah.
And you had it was like trash bags and some like junk, like a cardboard box and maybe an empty milk jug. I don't know. It was just some junk and like a handful of trash bags in an alleyway. and they were
Yeah.
all, it was all perfectly painted white. So you
Yeah.
gotta tell me the story behind that.
Oh, that was funny. I mean, as said, I've never really stopped doing art now. I was a graffiti writer forever, and always, I guess, will be to an extent. So I was always doing little projects here and there, whatever. And this is just something I just walked past in an alleyway in Reykjavik in Iceland, and there was just like someone had just like dumped a whole bunch of trash there, right? And I don't know how I had the idea, but I was just like, hey, that would be really cool monochrome. And so I just went to the place where I was staying, grabbed a bucket of paint, and just went there, just daytime, and started just painting it. And as you said, it was like super meticulous. I didn't want to get any on the walls, any on the floor, on the ground. I wanted it to be just like look like photoshopped in almost. And just as I was finishing, the cops turned up. And they're like, and they tried to fucking arrest me, man.
Wow.
And I was like, dude, man. And they're like, no, this is someone else's property. I'm like, man, it's been discarded, And they're like, yeah, but still, it's someone else's property. And then I don't remember the full interaction, but the last word that I had on the matter was like, listen, does it look better now or how it was before? And they were like, it looks better now. And I was like, okay, I rest my case. And at that point, they're like, okay, but don't do it again, kind of thing, So yeah, no, that was fun. And it's called white trash, obviously. Ha ha ha.
No, I think that's absolutely hilarious. I feel like there's maybe someday there's some tie somehow back to Bitcoin with that, and some project there of some.
Yeah, well, this is kind of fun because like
it's one like because
you go one of those because like
one of those things where it's like one of those art projects you see, it really does get you thinking, I don't know.
Cool. What did it make you think? I'm interested. What did it make you think?
Just the idea of it. I mean, on the one hand, I suppose it's something, I don't know. I just feel like there's something interesting about the idea of, I think the performance art in it, maybe the visual of it, the photo that you shared, if I remember correctly, was quite striking. It was interesting to look at, and it was interesting. It was like, was that photoshopped in? Like, what am I looking at here?
Right. Yeah.
Because you don't recognize it as trash because it's all like perfectly painted white, so it doesn't look like black trash bags or junk. But it has this form of trash, and so your brain is like trying to register what it is. And it's just, I think that's really interesting. And then you've combined the performative act of like, well, I sat here and like hand painted this, and something about the doing something for the sake of doing it with like zero outcome ultimately, I don't know. I feel like you could, but then, painting trash, like making trash beautiful, subjectively beautiful. I think there's just a lot you could riff off of there.
Yeah,
maybe there's a small series where it's stuff that gets painted orange. That's not. It kind of makes me start thinking of like,
I will never use orange. Or masks. No. It's interesting because since like discovering Bitcoin art and just like going like full on into it, because it's like actually interesting. It's like a renaissance, from a personal renaissance, right? It's like a rebirth of my own artistic being. And so I've noticed that I'm picking up subconsciously, consciously on things where I had left off in a way. Like the Buy Bitcoin painting is a riff off of something that I was doing. Actually, one of the last things I did at art college, and the cube thing as well. I was doing lots of graph paperwork back then as well, and playing with base 9 numbers and all sorts of shit like this. So it is very much a picking up where I left off, which is cool. And it's fun being able to reference or, to pick up that gauntlet in a way and add to that, or through the lens of now, all of the acquired experience I have had in the meantime, and so on. So, yeah, absolutely. There's like I've got quite a pool of stuff to draw on, basically, which I will continue to do for sure. And who knows if that doesn't creep back in. Actually, I have had an idea, and I hadn't connected that what you're mentioning, that white trash piece, but I had an idea where that could be quite interesting. So, thanks.
You gotta. All right, you gotta tell me the idea now.
No. God forbid. You know how guarded I am like that.
All right. What we do have to talk about is, well, what how are we doing on time here? We're doing good on time. All right. Quick question, and then I'm going to ask you about the cube. Do you remember the first moment you decided to make Bitcoin art?
Yeah, absolutely. It was cool actually. My family, my wife and kids were in Iceland. It must have been like June or July, something like that. And I was listening to the Art of Freedom. I was just cooking myself a steak every evening, watering the tomatoes, having a glass of wine, and every Monday listening to Art of Freedom. And it was, I don't know how I actually got there in the first place, but I did. And I was listening to one of the episodes, and I was actually thinking about this yesterday. Maybe it was with Zetra. It was definitely with one of the like graph people, or ex-graph people. And I was like, shit, I should be doing this. This is what I should, because I had been previously like, I did the Be the Change t-shirts, and I did those couple of tunes and shit. So I was like, already like very infected by the massive creativity in the space, right? But it was listening to Art of Freedom that I was like, wow, this is what I need to be doing. And then I did those. I was like, I can tie this, because like I did that one tune where all of the lyrics are BTC, like almost all of the words, and so many people don't notice that. It's really funny. And I was like, cool, I can apply that I can do like graph-like drawings of like various BTC phrases, and so I just listed up all sorts of phrases I could think of, and like chose 4, which I then did as these drawings for Fractal's show in El Salvador. And I did one, submitted that, and he was like, yeah, man, let's go. And I was so excited. I was like, oh, brilliant. I'm going to go. And I haven't looked back since. I literally have barely taken any days off since then, which is terrible.
Terrible for the wife, but maybe not so much.
Now, she's also very creative.
What'd you say?
What's that? She's also like super like busy with her. She's also always been very creative and like doing her things. So it's just good that I'm not unavailable. Like the kids will come and hang out with me in the studio and chat to me, and so it's not like don't talk to dad, he's busy kind of shit.
Yeah.
I'm still very much there, but I'm just like engaged.
Yeah.
Like full on.
Are you going to send one of those pieces? I think you last said you have 2 of them left. Are you going to send one of them to Denver?
You keep reminding me, and I keep forgetting.
Prints to send to Denver, because I got to drop it right now. Yo, we got a gallery in Denver. It's Bitcoin Art Magazine times the space. Auctions happening in Scarce City, and it'll be physical art hanging in the space in Denver. If anybody listening to this is in Denver, Colorado, go check it out. The space in Denver, Bitcoin Citadel, Denver's premier Bitcoin Citadel. And we have art on the walls, and you can also go to scarce.city and you can look at the artwork there. That is currently at a fixed price, and in a couple months here we'll be going on auction. And we're going to find out if Anik's going to send me anything for the gallery.
We will. Watch this space, man. Actually, I need to go to the post office on Friday. It's the big city, so I might just tag that in.
Okay. Also,
send me the deets.
I will. I already did, but I will send them to you again. I will.
Oh, really?
I will
Oops.
forward them down to you. Yeah. No, you've been
I've been a little bit tunnel visioned of late.
yeah. So you've been really busy painting dots, balls,
Yes. Balls.
and
Meticulously. So, yeah,
each ball represents one Bitcoin.
correct.
Okay, will you tell me a little bit about what you're working on?
Yeah, sure. Okay. I mean, I did do that, this animation, the video, which is my pinned tweet, which I was shocked by
Which,
how,
real quick, if you're listening to this, that's at Anik Malcolm, all lowercase,
yeah,
one word, ANIKMALCOLM. That's at Anik Malcolm on Twitter. And you
yeah.
can watch his pinned video, but I'm going to make him explain it to me right now.
Okay. It was really funny because I literally I did a poll just like, hey, would anyone appreciate me doing an animation explaining it? And like 5 people were like, yeah, do that. And so I literally did it for those no, it was 6 actually. Oh, cool. For those 6 people. And then it just like got frigging tons of shares and like got picked up by some very cool stuff. So I was very happy about, like, very surprised by how this very like clinical mathematical artwork idea resonated. So basically it went like this. I was sitting with Una one rainy afternoon, and I said to her, like, we've been collaborated on all sorts of stuff over the years, and I said to her, like, I want to do an artwork with 21 million or something, which isn't a particular novel idea, of course. It just takes doing. And she just knee-jerk response was like, do a cube of beads, because she is a jeweler, so she works with beads. Beads are also one of the first methods of exchange, right? So this just made perfect sense. And the cube is obviously, very ubiquitous in Bitcoin imagery for obvious reasons. And so I was like, cool, I love that idea. And I instantly just like grabbed the calculator and saw, like, how would this work out? How could I do this? And found the nearest cube root, which is 276. And as Michael Saylor previously posted about as well, I didn't know this, but he missed the trick. And this is the cool part. When you do 276 cubed, you get a bit more than 21 million. You get 21,024,576. And so I was like, okay, cool. So to get 21 million, I just need to do that cube of 276 and remove the extra 24,576. And so I was like, okay, it would be cool if that, like, it's a cube. It would be most visually pleasing if that could be removed equally from all 6 sides, right? And so, does it divide by 6, that number? Yes, it does. It divides, and you get 4,096. So you have to remove 4,096 from each one. And I was like, I recognize that number. I've seen that before. And so I was like, well, it's a cube. It would be coolest, of course, if that number was a square, right? If it were to had a square root. Does 4,096 have a square root? And sure enough, the square root of 4,096 is 64. So you can remove a square of 64 by 64 from each of the 6 sides. That's so fucking neat. That's so, like, incredibly, like, elegant. What are the frigging chances of that? And then I realized that obviously 64 is, you can divide by half again and again. It's a power of 2 number, right? So you can display it. It would be boring if it was just the same square on each of the 6 sides. So on one side you have 64 by 64. Then on the next side you have 4 squares of 32 by 32, and keep on splitting that in half, in half, in half. So, and in so doing, you get this kind of visual representation of the halving mechanism, because the sides go half on each side, but also this kind of like exponential growth that happens by this halving process. So to me, as like I had accidentally found this incredibly simple visual representation of Bitcoin and its mechanisms and its functions all in one, just like super concise image, you know. And I just got so excited by this, and I lost many nights of sleep just thinking about all the different ways I could portray this. And so far I've done the graphic version, I've done the drawing version, I'm currently working on the oil painting version, and I'm in conversations about doing a massive public sculpture version. I also want to do like the original idea, small sculpture version. So yeah, and I'm gonna do frigging t-shirts and paperweights and frigging name it, man. I'm kind of excited.
I
rant over.
No, I would love it. I would love a t-shirt. I think yeah.
There will be some at Vegas actually. I've been in conversations about this, so there will be some to do with I think, as far as I know, to do with the conference itself. So like,
very exciting.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Nice.
Yeah.
There's something pleasing about the cube with the squares on each face that break down, and I love. There's something so OPSEC about it. That's just. I mean, I hope someday the cube isn't OPSEC and that everybody knows what that cube means. But like,
thank you.
As of right now,
I fully agree. And I think it will. Like, I was talking to someone the other day about it becoming its own memetics, you know, because like the last thing I did at Vegas, the Buy Bitcoin Art thing obviously has this very strong like memetic language already, you know, it's very recognizable. But like, I think what I'm working on at the moment has the potential of becoming its own kind of like memetic thing, you know, in the sense of just like its own very visually recognizable thing. And I agree. As much as everyone loves the Bitcoin B, it is still connected to the fiat thing, right? It's you put it alongside the dollar sign and the euro sign and the yen sign and the pound sign. It's one. It makes it indistinguishable from one of those. But we want to distinguish it from those. We don't want it to be yet another currency symbol, because it's more than just a currency. It's a fucking philosophy. It's a revolution, you know.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about what you're saying there from that perspective. I've definitely had an appreciation for artwork in Bitcoin art that's not just, you know, a clever variation or a version of a bee, or God, you know, let alone just slapping a bee on something and calling it Bitcoin art. But from the perspective there, you point out of how that's still associating it to the money, which is amazing, and that is what it's all about, and a sound form of money and so forth. But it's like that's the denomination, the currency ticker of it, and that, you know, there's something special about the symbols that represent the philosophy behind Bitcoin and the idea behind Bitcoin, which I think in a lot of ways is so much more powerful than Bitcoin itself, in the sense that Bitcoin's an idea, and it's an idea of, I mean, it's a different idea for different people, but I would say most Bitcoiners agree that it's, you know, there's some basic universal ideas around Bitcoin, you know, that have very beautiful and libertarian values to them.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's an absolute departure from, you know, it's the polar opposite to the system to which we've been subjected for hundreds, thousands of years, you know. So it needs to be separate, you know. It needs to be its own trajectory, its own thing. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
No. What are the symbols going to be? What are the symbols of that idea? The underlying philosophy, the underlying idea of not working for what another man can print, or not, you know, what are the of being truly sovereign? Like, what are the symbols of sovereignty? And so I think that's cool. I mean, like the infinity divided by 21 million as a good example of
Right.
of a meme.
Well, that's why I called it the whole entire universe, right? It's a hat tip to that. It's the infinity, and
Yeah.
then there's the 21 million, which is also this kind of this unit, this one cube, but it's also out into infinity.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I think it's a I don't know. I can see it becoming more of a having a mimetic effect as people understand it. And it's interesting because
I hope so.
No idea what the fuck you were doing, or pardon my language, no idea what at all you were doing. Like I needed.
No one did, man. No one did. It was really bizarre.
I'm sure somebody listens to this and is like, "What on earth are they talking about?"
Exactly.
You told me like on the phone the whole thing already, and I was like, and then when I saw your explainer video, I took that for me to understand it, which is kind of embarrassing because like some of the art that I make is like,
dude,
cipher complex and stuff. But it's these are sometimes these are things that take a minute to wrap your head around.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that little cube you have now means so much.
Right. Exactly. It's a complex idea wrapped in a very simple image, but you need to understand that image first, I guess. And it's true. And don't be in any way ashamed of that, because like I explained this to an engineer friend of mine, and he was like, no, explain it again, explain in writing and like step by step. And even then it wasn't properly clicking, and which is why I was so surprised that this video did do so well, like it was posted by Bitcoin News separately and stuff, because I guess it does encapsulate this kind of like very deep truth. Like I had people like commenting like, this is rekindled my passion for Bitcoin kind of shit, and it's like, whoa, if like something that simple can do something that profound, then that's saying something. Then it's clearly something very potent, which is why I was so excited about it in the first place, because I recognized that potency. I was like, wow, this is like super symbolic and super like it encapsulates the elegance of Bitcoin, right? But how it's so simple, but it's so complex. It's as simple as you want it to be, and it's as complex as you want it to be, all in just one single piece of code. It's it's fucking beautiful, man.
The more we talk about it, the more I want like a hoodie and a t-shirt with it on it, or maybe a hat. And I don't,
man.
And I know that sometimes it's like, sometimes I have mixed feelings about like taking something that's fine art and then putting it on like merch. But somehow I don't feel like this is reductive to that. No. Like just as a symbol, just as a logo itself, I feel like it's just cool. And then
I agree. Thank you for saying that. I agree.
You take it in a painting and then into a sculpture, which I don't know if you have any news on the sculpture.
Well, the thing is, I kind of need to be there. It's in Roatan, planned to be in Roatan, and so I kind of like need to take time out to be there to kind of get that ball rolling. But I've had, it's basically everyth's in place for it to start happening, so I'm super excited about that. And I just need to, basically now it's getting this painting done. That's my top priority. And then I can kind of like, depending on how that goes, plan the rest of the year around that,
And you mentioned smaller sculptures. Any thoughts on smaller ones? What about like, I don't know, material wise, like what even if you did like metal ones that were like all the dots, like etched onto the metal or something? I don't know what
exactly.
You had anything?
You can 3D print them. You can do all sorts. In fact, actually, good opportunity to ask if there's anyone out here who's good with 3D printing software and hardware. Reach out, please, because I would love to see how feasible that is. I know it's very feasible. I want to do it. So reach out if you're good with that kind of stuff, please.
Crypto cloaks or BTC pins. I don't know if BTC pins is doing much 3D printing, but he does have a laser and he's been kind enough to help me make some. He actually lasered the wood panel that this piece of art's painted on. Shout out BTC Pin. Who's
Ah,
also a sponsor
nice.
of Bitcoin Art Magazine. And so is Crypto Cloaks. Shout out Crypto Cloaks. But Crypto
Brilliant.
Cloaks is 3D printing wizards, so he'd be a good
True. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good idea.
And then Printer Go Burr. I'm trying to think what what the handle is, but I guess I know a couple that I could ping you over. You could at least chat.
Yeah, cool. I mean, once again, this is something that I have to wait till after Vegas for, because, you know, if I don't sell this painting, then it's back to the, I don't know, man. So I kind of have to, you know, what I do from going forward depends a little bit on the funding I have for the rest of the year. Just a little bit dependent on that. So, but yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to be able to go into, because people asked about it, you know, when I did that video. I was like, oh, can you make a like paperweight version and all this kind of stuff. So I would love to. I would love to make it as ubiquitous as possible, man. Get it out there, because because it is so. It does seem to touch people, and I just love it when something so in a way so cold and clinical can create this, you know, this emotional response. It's incredible to me. It's beautiful.
I might be partial to shapes and cubes and so forth, but
aren't we all?
Yeah, it's funny. Maybe there's a little bit also of like a once you know kind of thing with it, and so once you understand, you're kind of like, it gives. I'm experiencing the same feeling I experienced once I understood what Infinity/21 is, and the reason someone would go and get Infinity/21 tattooed on them, like that of like, I know what this is, and it has like a lot of meaning behind it. And so I feel like this is a really cool, almost evolution of that, because at least for me, a cube with more cubes on it is much more visually appealing than like 8/21. You know, as beautiful as that is, and it's in its own simplicity of text based, you know, presentation. A cube is just, I mean, a square with cubes, a cube with cubes on it. I know. It's just cool.
Gorgeous. Yeah. It's gorgeous. I want to design a family crest for my family around this, for real. I'm not kidding. Yeah, it is a beautiful thing. I have to say it is. And I feel so honored to have been entrusted with this mission, you know, and I'm going to honor that as best I can, you know.
Yeah. No, it's exciting. Well, I'm seeing this painting sell for top sats in Vegas. So if anybody's listening to this and you, once again, don't have any idea what we're talking about, go and check out Anik on Twitter and check out his pinned video. There's a great little explainer with an infographic visual explainer that he made. And keep an eye out for when his painting drops. And I'm keeping an eye out because I think your painting's probably going to be a little bit out of my budget, but prints maybe, or smaller sculptures or something. So, and then
man, I'm gonna do it for all sat ranges. Sorry.
Yeah, from the pleb to the whale, from the shrimp to the beluga.
That's beautiful. The whole ocean. Should be included.
Plankton stacker to the
yeah, man.
Blue whale.
Absolutely.
Everybody gets a cube.
Another thing, actually, I realized yesterday. I'm talking about like recognizability of like of certain mathematical symbols, right? It's just kind of like and especially geometric ones. You know, I was like hugely drawn, as have you been, to sacred geometry for a period. You know, just like I went all in on that, like building macabres and all of this stuff, right? And in a way, though it isn't obviously traditionally sacred geometry, I recognized something yesterday. I read this article about 369. And in this, and the cube is inherently 369 because it's 3D, it's got 6 sides, it's got 12, which breaks down to 3 edges. It's got in a 2D projection, it's got 3 faces and 6 sides. It's a hexagon with 9, so it's all 369, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in this article, and I posted it, it's also talking about the fact that the doubling pattern, the one that is on the faces, right? 1, 2, 4, 8, blah. This numerically breaks down to a sequence which excludes 369. So it's 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, and that repeats ad infinitum. So, right? So it's like this pattern. So by applying this pattern that doesn't have 369 to this cube, which is 369, it brings forth this like super beautiful 369, because like 21 million is 3, 276 on the sides is 9, I think. No, 6, and etc. So all of the numbers, or a lot of the numbers in this cube itself, also fit the 369 pattern. So it's this kind of like beautiful kind of like juxtaposition of these non 369s, which then give rise to this 369 thing. So there is this kind of like sacred geometric aspect to it as well, which I obviously enjoy.
Have you read through Level 39's 369 post on Twitter with all the it's got all the different 369 is
yes.
coin?
I have.
You gotta go.
I should do it again.
Yeah, and you should quote tweet it.
It was a while ago.
On it, what you were just saying, and add that on, because that's really interesting to think about. And I guess that would be the same as in Bitcoin's halving, right? Is that 369 doesn't exist within the halving sequence, but sometimes the lack of existence is equally as
brings it about
existing. Yeah. Which is really interesting, and I'd never thought about that. That's fascinating. I love it.
Yeah, I should definitely read that.
I want a cube. Can I get like a shirt? Can I get a hoodie? Can I get a hat? Can I get a freaking sticker?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. It's funny. I was in Lugano. I was like,
I want a print. I want a fine art print of it. Is what I want. Like a signed.
I'll do that for you. It shall be a present. This is my printing operation is something I still need to get probably up and running.
Well, if you want,
my customers have discovered how not up and running it currently is.
If you want, I'm not going to pressure you, but we could do maybe we could do a print drop on the magazine website with the whole entire universe cube.
You were mentioning, let's do that. I'd like to do the print of the painting. So I need to get that done first. But yeah, let's do that. Let's absolutely do that. Yeah, man.
Awesome.
And you get one, obviously, as the boss is present.
Studio proof. No.
Yeah, exactly. 0 of 21.
0 of 21.
Mm-hmm.
I got super exciting news on edition 1 of the magazine. I'm not going to say but really exciting cover artist we've got lined up. And the whole thing's coming along good. I'm excited for it. So we got to get I'm going to ask you on air here, the whole entire universe, the podcast. You're taking a hiatus, an artist's retreat.
Yeah, well, I have to.
From the whole entire universe, so that you can work on the whole entire universe.
Exactly.
Do you have any plans for our vivacious listeners if you're going to be coming back?
Yeah, absolutely. I just needed to it was everything that is not my painting is stressing me out at the moment, basically, and I minimize stress for full, what's it called? Streamlining of my life. No, it was, I just couldn't do it for the time being, but as soon as Vegas is done, I'll be back on a monthly basis, and I'm going to take a different format with a different name. And what I want to be doing is I want to be doing deeper dives. So these will be pre-recorded sessions with, artists once a month, and like going as deep as possible, necessary, so these will be proper, like, kind of archival things. Like if you want to really like hear someone, unfettered by the sands of time, then listen to that one and see how everything they have to say, or everything they want to say, that kind of thing.
I'm really excited for this. I think it'll be very complimentary with what I'm doing here, which is a little bit more light and shorter interview style, casual interviews. And then Yonat is doing the movement of art that drops on the 8th and the 21st of every month. And she's doing a little more of like a round table panel format with 3-4 different artists at a time. So then you doing a deep dive with an artist once a month, I think will be very complimentary, and it'll be
Me too.
A nice little lineup of different audio gallery content for anybody interested in Bitcoin and Bitcoin art.
It forms a nice kind of trinity, 369 thing. No, I think it does. It's kind of like 3 aspects, I really like what Yonat's doing. Her panel thing is super cool. So yeah, it's like 3 different things, and I think they'll work really well together.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to have you back, and
me too.
It'll be good. All right, we're almost at the hour mark here, so I figure let's slowly wind it up here. I'm gonna drop real quick. We got a coupon code for a free copy of the Genesis edition of Bitcoin Art Magazine. The coupon code is usable at bitcoinartmagazine.com. And it's a $42 coupon, which gets you a free copy of the Genesis edition. The coupon code is Bitcoin Art 42069, and that's Bitcoin with a capital B, Art with a capital A, 42069. That's Bitcoin Art 42069, capital B and capital A. And
that sounds like an awful lot of fun.
We will be. I will still be doing. I'm going to be dropping. For the next, I think in the next 2 months or so here, I'll be dropping a coupon code for a free copy of the Genesis edition on each of these episodes. First come, first serve. So whoever heard that and went to the website and got it.
Well done.
Anik, it's been great chatting with you here today. I feel like we could just talk on for hours and hours. I don't feel like it. I know that we could. So we're just going to have to do another one soon. And
I'm going to have to do the deep dive on myself, right?
You're going to have to do the deep dive on yourself. You'll have to do the deep dive on me and see what you can wrangle.
I would love that. Absolutely, man. So I look forward to that. I've got so many questions I have to throw at you as well, man.
Have I done a good job of maintaining an air of mystery about me?
Dude, I still have no idea who you are, in spite of the fact that we have spoken many, many times in the last half year or so. You've maintained it perfectly.
I talk little bits on some of the podcasts I've been on and stuff. I'll say I say more and more bits and pieces here and there. I mean, it's not anything like crazy or really that mysterious, but I do. I have chosen the gray man theory here in the Bitcoin space and been as pseudonymous as possible within reason. But yeah, I would love to. That would be awesome, and we should definitely do that. And we should also definitely do your episode with you, because I think that I'm excited to hear more about, I don't know, upcoming stuff and ideas and things here. And I want to talk just more about the whole entire universe, because what a wild,
there's lots in it,
entire thing it is.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cool, man. I really enjoyed the session. It was fun going into these kind of like the backwaters and stuff like that. It was, yeah.
I think people are really interested by like where people come from. I know that I am, and I feel like with Twitter and social media and this, the Bitcoin space being so international, kind of digital in so many ways, a lot of times we don't really know that much about each other, and it's kind of like people, but like you actually don't know anything about them. And so
absolutely
more about where we come from, I think is good, and is bringing us back to our humanity a little bit in this rapidly increasing AI landscape that we're living in. So
absolutely, yeah, I agree. It's a noble cause. That's going to be the biggest question of the coming years, right? I think it's beautiful. It's like, to me, it's like the first time we've actually had a proper mirror on who we are as humans, by the fact that there is now decidedly non-human, replicant version, we are being shown what is human, and it's rapidly coming to light, and it's super cool. I love it. I love it. So I'm a human maximalist, man.
Human maximalist.
Yeah. I've always loved humanity, in spite of the attempts to propagandize me against it. Yeah. I love humanity, man.
All right. Hey, you got to tell me, where can listeners discover your artwork, follow along, and maybe acquire a piece of artwork?
Maybe indeed. I mean, I'm pretty active on Twitter, man. It's at Anik Malcolm, spelling right there. There's also anikmalcolm.com, which I could be a little bit more diligent at refreshing, but I tend to do that whenever there's been like an exhibition or whatever. It's more like an archive. And then I'm on Nostra as well. I could be better at doing that. Also, Anik Malcolm is always just Anik Malcolm. And that's pretty much it, really. Mostly just on Twitter, man. That's the thing.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time here today with me. And
thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Like I said, I look forward to doing it again. I guess any last words you got for anybody? And upcoming events is going to be Vegas. Is the next?
It's going to be Vegas. I understand that people don't want to, there's lots of anti-Vegas sentiment. I fully get that. However, at the same time, I know that we artists form a frigging great core of real ass mofos there, and it's always super fun. And I really look forward to meeting everyone again, those that are coming and those who I haven't met before. It's going to be super nice. So I really look forward to it this year. It's going to be great. And that's basically all I have to say. Keep on doing your thing, man.
I have to. I mean, I personally support a lot of the anti-Vegas sentiment for various reasons, but it is still the world's largest Bitcoin art gallery that gets held every year, and there's something to be said for that. And so,
I'm really glad. Actually,
Vegas, come hang out in the art gallery. Come hang out with us in the gallery.
Yeah. Exactly. Just bypass the noise, come to where the signal is.
Exactly. You said it for me.
Having said that, man, though, I'm really happy to hear that that Fractal, now that's official, I'm really happy that he is curating Prague this year, man. That's going to be phenomenal.
There will be a gallery at Prague.
There will be. And he sent out invitations as well. I mean, like publicly posted invitations for that. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. Because that would be super cool. I would love to go to Prague, and I'll probably also be going to which is so conveniently just a few days before in Warsaw in Poland. There's a Bitcoin film festival just a few days beforehand. So I'll probably be going to that, and then Prague afterwards probably. So that'll be a fun little time in June. So if you're this side of the Atlantic, then go check those things out. That would be cool.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah, man.
Well, really, really good. We're just pushing an hour here. I say let's wrap it up. And
yeah, man.
If you're listening, go check out Anik's work at anikmalcolm.com. Go follow him on Twitter. Check out his pinned tweet and keep an eye out for his painting that will be in the Bitcoin Vegas Art Gallery auction. Are you gonna auction it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I kind of have to, right?
Awesome.
I don't think there's an option, really. Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, check it out.
Super awesome.
Look forward to seeing you all there, man. Asanoha, thank you so much for another great chat. It's been super enjoyable.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for staying up late for it.
No, absolutely. I this was really good. And this is the Bitcoin Art Podcast. My name is Asanoha. I'm the founder of Bitcoin Art Magazine. You can pick up your copy of the world's first Bitcoin art magazine at bitcoinartmagazine.com. And you can listen to more episodes like this one at bitcoinartbroadcast.com. That's bitcoinartbroadcast.com. So I appreciate you all. Thank you to anybody who made it to the end here. Shout out. I see you. And I wish you all a wonderful night or day or morning. Anik, you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too, man. I'm off to paint some dots. All right, then, dude. Take it easy. Peace out.